This is going to be exactly what, this is exactly what Owen needs to do as we watch this replay here. Pretty deep as he grabs this wave. And you know something dynamic's going to happen because you don't get 8s for doing nothing as he slides across the lip. Beautiful work there. I was looking at this surfboard and it has a very pulled in tail, so he's going to have that extra grip. Little narrower tail gives him control. And
wow.
8.17.
Oh, very high in the early stages against the man who put up the highest heat score total of the event earlier on. But here is John Florence in reply. Super explosive first turn. The wave flattens out for a moment and now starts to stand up again. And John absolutely hammers what's on offer a couple of times now. Really critical on that last hit. Just couldn't quite get his board back under his feet.
The replay here of John's first wave. Straight up and vertical approach on that lip. So hard to do and keep that speed, especially in these bumpy, windier conditions. And once again, attacking the lip section. It's unfortunate that he wasn't able to pull that one down.
And now Owen Wright goes looking for a backup number. 8.17 on his first wave. And this one is really starting to stand up nicely now on the bowl. Owen gets up into it, flattening out a little bit for a moment, but he's done some work on the outside, so he elects to try and make that inside connection. Look at how lumpy and bumpy that water is. So hard to get a turn done. He does very well just to guide his board through the chop there and complete that ride.
He's backing up the 8.17. Probably a little conservative, even for him, trying to just make sure that he completes the ride all the way to the end bowl. In contrast, you go into this next wave for Owen Wright, and it has groomed out a little bit, but that's being in that situation of not in priority, so you kind of get left with the scraps. This wave much smoother, but still very challenging to surf. This was the best maneuver in my eyes. It did go into that deeper water as he executed the maneuver, so not as critical as he would have liked. And then here, this is a very critical section. You got backwash and foam and the beach and rocks right in front of you. He just wanted to steer through it, which he does. So you're right, very brave.
Florence up now. So chasing a score of 7.02 to get into the lead. Pick this one off down the line. Positioned himself well to make the most of the opportunity. He's going to go over the falls here.
Yeah, filling the sinuses. Little saltwater rinse.
Just a couple of legs hanging out of the lip there. He's straight back on his board though. That really doesn't feel like he'll need to do much to turn in a monster number. If he does the kind of surfing that he did in the earlier rounds, he'll go into the 9s guaranteed. Here he is. Flatter section on the outside here. He's sticking with it though. This wave now starting to stand up. You know that John's the kind of guy that won't back away from these final sections, and there's a huge hit. Gets on the tail of that board to ensure that he rides out.
And that was important. You know, if he wanted to turn this number or this wave into a good number, it had to be a very dynamic finish move, and that was a meaty set. Going to be an exorbitant number, but it shows what he's capable of. Let's see what the judges think, though. That was a pretty, like I said, pretty massive maneuver on the inside. In comparison to the 5.77 there and the 8.77, the 6.93. But look at this. I mean, he hammered it. That was critical. That was a massive maneuver.
I liked it a lot better than the big turn on Owen's 8.17.
I do too. I agree. I mean, look at this. It's just so steep, so much water, and he just did not hold back. He held all the speed. Was able to air out. I mean, he was able to keep the board facing down the transition, and that was very helpful to make sure that he completed it.
You apart.
Look at that. I mean, look at the drop that he just did. I mean, that looked like he was back in the Eddie Aikau. You know, which he is a winner and a champion of. One of the original big wave events and one of the biggest and best years ever. Has attacked the lip on the outside. Nice layback snap. This is by no way easy wave to surf. Look at all the moguls.
Hey, just thinking about what we've just seen. Owen Wright had an 8.17 on the first.
Bumpy, windy, and it's kind of hard, you know, to hang in there. Yeah, just a lot of water moving, you know.
What I love about John is that he made sure that he was 100% healed up before he made his debut on the tour again.
Well, as far as we know, he might not even be. He might be capable of more. Might be still recovering, but at the moment it doesn't matter. He's got the highest heat score total of the event. He's collected 2 of the highest heat score totals. And he's up once again. Can probably afford to conserve some energy here at this point in time as he drives up into the lip. And again, just a devastating final turn. I don't think he'll be comfortable at this point until he's got Owen Wright in a combination, because Owen's still chasing a 9.3, and we know that the scale is a little high in this heat. Win a couple more, maybe even this year.
Let's watch this replay here again with the bouncy conditions, still staying very positive on his feet. Looking at every opportunity to connect with the lip, putting the board up there, keeping it smooth. At this point, he knew what he had done on that outside section, so everything had to be given at this one. Gets there early, carves through it. Great angle here as you see where he places this maneuver. Gets there early enough to be able to unload on it, but then with all the speed and the connection of the tail there, right at the meaty part of the section.
I think that's his best finish. Now he turned in a 7.83 for a similar turn, just a single turn on the end section, and that one had a couple of moves on the outside and the big finish. Going to happen with that ride. Owen Wright up at the moment, and he needs a 9.99 to get ahead of John Florence here. Big section, stands up. Beautiful backhand hit. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
Impressive to see what he does on the outside part of this wave, though. Second wave of the set, Jeremy had gone on the first one, so cleaner wall, but there was a nice carve on that outside section, so that's something to think about as well. Nice and smooth as he hits back to this final section. This is where the wave starts to flatten out a bit, so this one's just steering through it, but this has to be perfect. This has to be almost 10 points, 9.99. I mean, he's given the judges something to think about, but I would say that's probably going to come up a little bit short.
Quality surfing, but in comparison to the 817, it's much better than that. Starting to roll through for Owen Wright, looking impressive. It's an 8.8, so still in second spot, but he's narrowed that requirement just a little bit. John Florence had this one.
Oh, goodness. Are you kidding? And how clean was that one? It's still getting bigger and bigger. I mean, with the tide filling in, it's just the bowl is loading up with water.
John's trying to replace an 8.53 here, Pete.
Well, let's see what he does here. Whips it in the top and pulls it down. Kind of went to work, and you know, it's 50 minutes, so you've got to compete that entire 50 minutes.
Well rewarded, John Florence, the highest heat score total of the event so far. Out there in the lineup, the current Jeep ratings leader, still holding on to the lead against Jeremy Flores.